Yes, good morning to you, Romeo Busiku. There in the studio, Stephen Imbide on Fefeswe Kibuga now coming to you live from Buziga. And we know that debate now from all circles, the legal, the political, and the activism, the circles are all talking about bail or jail. Should capital offenders or suspects of capital offenses be denied bail, or should we leave it to the discretion of the court? And this is a debate that is not new in Uganda, but has now been reinforced from the president himself to the members of parliament and now to the judicial circles. And now privileged to speak to the former Chief Justice, the former Minister of Justice, Attorney General, and also a retired Supreme Court Judge or Justice, Professor Judge Kanyeihamba. Good morning to you and happy to see you.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm okay.
Thank you for coming so early in the morning. And as you can see, I am still very strong, although my legs are not very, very strong. And I've been following the debate you've just introduced with great horror and sadness. As you know, I was one of the delegates in the Constituent Assembly. I led a team of more than 20 lawyers who had been elected delegates to the Constituent Assembly, and for days we debated the issue of the freedom of the person and the bail in particular, against a background where many Ugandans had been perished at the security forces of Idi Amin. Many had disappeared, unknown. Others were incinerated, were in jail. Their representatives never knew where they were. Certainly the idea of bail or applying for bail was unknown. And when we supported President Museveni and the NRM and eventually defeated Idi Aminism, we thought we would never again see the likes of Idi Amin and his rule in this country. I am horrified at my old age that we are going back to those days of Aminism, of authoritarianism, of belittling the courts. First of all, we reduced their IQs and then despise them. I had a comment this morning on one of the TV programs, and somebody said the president is fed up, is tired with the judiciary. How can a president of a country be tired of the judiciary, which is the third arm of government and of governance?
I wouldn't think so, because even just last week he was at the height of the judicature at the High Court, delivering a lecture to the at least.
Yes, which was a very controversial lecture. And I think that is where he introduced this idea, absurd idea, that the right to apply for bail should be abolished. It is the worst statement that has ever been made in a free country, of a country whose history he knows very well, of a history for which he went in the bush to reverse. He has got a short memory. Our president, the other day, I think they say he's officially 77 years old. I'm afraid people can become quite old even at the age of 60. That is why we put in the Constitution that after 2 terms of intensive administration, interaction with the people and everybody, any individual should retire.
What do you think is behind this, his renewed push? Because it's not something new.
First of all, come to the bail. I wrote an article in 1912 saying the right to apply for bail is sacred, it is unalterable, it is a human right, for which Uganda has signed many conventions and treaties to protect. And before President Museveni or his caucus alters the provisions on bail, he should first of all withdraw Uganda from all the international treaties which guarantee bail globally. That is the first thing he should do. He should state tomorrow, if really he's serious, that in a week's time he will call the caucus, NRM caucus, to change bail. He should first of all announce that Uganda is no longer a member of the international community. We have voluntarily left all the treaties and obligations because these obligations and treaties guarantee bail.
He has vowed to use all means, political, legal, and otherwise, to make sure that this, the call for denying bail goes through. For example, what do you think you say can, even if it means using a referendum, going through the members of parliament, how should we handle this? Should we go for a referendum? Should we take it to the public court? What should we do for this matter?
See, if President Museveni goes through with what we are suggesting, then his Uganda and the people of Uganda, you and me and everybody, we are nothing. But we are not nothing. The country is bigger than President Museveni. The people of Uganda, more than 40 million of us, are much stronger, bigger, and more important than the NRM caucus and Museveni. And therefore, for me, I am not contemplating him succeeding in removing the right to appeal, rather to get a bail. But most importantly, why don't you Ugandans, including me, remind him of what happened in 2015? In 2015, the Prime Minister was Apple Nsimbambi. The outgoing Prime Minister, Dr. Hakana Rugunda.
I think you meant 2005, because 2015 was Amama Mbabazi.
Oh, sorry, 200 what?
2005, during the besieging of the court.
I remember at the time of the Black Mamba incident.
2005.
Yes, 2005. Apple Nsimbambi, the late, much regretted former Prime Minister Apple Nsimbambi, was Prime Minister. And the High Court released suspects, men and women, I believe, who were charged of suspected crime of treason. And the High Court granted bail. They were in the building, and the then principal judge was none other than Ogola, James Ogola, and under him, the then Deputy Chief Justice was the late Mukasa Chukunyago, and they consulted, and they see this suspicion, the evidence is not adequate, is insufficient, and incidentally, later, most of those accused were found innocent. They have never been rearrested. That is a very good thing to begin with. To be charged with murder or treason doesn't mean that you are guilty.
And even to deny you bail, maybe once you are free, maybe he thinks that maybe government can compensate you or something else.
Yeah, obviously. But at the moment, the police are protected from prostitution if on reasonable grounds they arrest you. So you suffer double jeopardy. You are deprived of your, your freedom when actually you are not guilty, and then you are incinerated, and the days or the months you spend in jail, some people have spent their years on remand, in prison. You are not compensated. So it is double jeopardy. Now, President Museveni wants us to change the concept of our constitution and our philosophy as a democracy. We have a very fundamental principle that everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty by a competent court.
I agree,
now,
but
for him, he wants to say everybody is guilty unless you prove yourself innocent.
okay, finally, I want to understand from you, because you are one of the finest Uganda has ever produced in legal matters. Now that the matter is before Parliament, because members of Parliament are going to be summoned again, especially those from NRM and also from the entire House, but also the general public, maybe this matter could go to the general public for a referendum. The courts of law are also at a test now, whether to deny, because we even have members of Parliament who are even incarcerated for now. They are now at a test. What should be the way to go?
The way to go is not to take this up, either to debate it in Parliament, or to take, most of all it would be a terrible thing, to take it to the referendum. Why would I take it to a referendum? Because Museveni has got the knack of changing his mind and haranguing the population to do whatever he wants, whether right or wrong. Secondly, there is endemic corruption in this country. He will appoint returning officers who are corruptible, and they will rig the result to say the people want to abolish the right to bail, and it will happen that way. Many referendums we have had in this country don't always give us the results that the population want, because they are rigged, they are manipulated, and it would be a tragedy for this country to go to the referendum.
Thank you.
You go into referendum where people are free, where there is no corruption. Museveni has said that the police who would be supervising that election or that referendum are the most corrupt institution in this country.
Thank you.
How can you have a referendum?
Thank you so much, Professor Judge Wilson Kanyeihamba, one of Uganda's best legal brains that we have.
Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, welcome. This is Morning at NTV. Stephen Mbidde on Fefo Chivuga, now handing you back to Romeo Busiku, who is there in the studios.
Of Bell crowns this edition of Morning at NTV. Special thanks to my studio director Emmanuel Teko and the whole conglomerate with whom we are working right here on Morning at NTV. I'm talking about Elvis Kulubazi, my camera person who has recently just returned. He was ill. Thank you to Arafat Shafiq, studio producer, and also Collins Inamundi, Bridget, I see you, Jonathan Lester, and the whole crew with whom we work to execute these duties. Thank you for your input. To the kings, queens, boys and girls with whom are celebrating their birthdays on this day, we would like to wish you a joyous one, but be cognizant of the fact that COVID-19 is still here. Wear a face mask. Have yourselves a